everyone. I just wanted to create a quick video on briefly how to access, multiplayer for every Monster Hunter game that I play. Now, keep in mind this won't be a definitive and extensive, all-encompassing tutorial for each game. It's just what I use, how I use it, and pretty much how I access the multiplayer version of the game. Now, this is my third time trying to make this video because I have a tendency to ramble, so I'm going to try to avoid that and making this a 30-minute long video. So pretty much what I'm going to do is I'm going to explain how I go over, like the mainline games, how I access the online functionality, and for Monster Hunter Frontier as well. So that means I won't be doing dynamic hunting. I won't be doing Monster Hunter I, that flip phone game. It doesn't have online functionality. Monster Hunter Explorer, it is somewhat playable now thanks to some fan efforts. I'm sure there's a Discord out there. You can go check it out. I'm not sure if I'll have it linked in the description below just yet because it's still cooking, but Monster Hunter, pretty much the Monster Hunter games that are like on the phones, the iOS version of Monster Hunter Freedom Unite, I will not be explaining how to access online with them, either because it's not possible or because I don't know how to. And for Monster Hunter Online, the Chinese game, it's not possible at this time. There was some fan efforts to revive some fan servers, but unfortunately, they are stuck trying to actually get everything set up because it's just a time-consuming process. So it is on a hiatus until further notice. That said, we're going to start with the Monster Hunter, the first and second generation of Monster Hunter on the PS2. So Monster Hunter 1, Monster Hunter G, which is just the, Monster Hunter 1 with DLC. It's kind of the all-encompassing version of Monster Hunter 1, so for the PS2. And Monster Hunter DOS, which is the second generation of the game. Now, I would say if you want to experience the first generation of Monster Hunter, and in the best way possible, I would say get Monster Hunter Freedom for the PSP. It's Monster Hunter G, but it's got some things to make it a bit faster, make it a bit more enjoyable, and you don't have to use the right analog stick to attack, unlike with the PS2 games. Additionally, I will say, for the PS2 versions of the game, you have to have the Japanese ISO files. You have to have the Japanese versions of the game. Now, something I will say is if you go to mholdschool.com, and then you, this is actually a different one. And then you go into Lou Tyrannus here, the Great Monster Hunter 2 PS2 Online Guide. If you scroll down here, there is an English patch for all three. It covers everything, to my knowledge. They're all fully complete, for the most part. I think DOS is still a little incomplete, very slightly, but Monster Hunter 1, Monster Hunter G, they should be fully complete. If that's too much work for you, skip over to the PSP section. We'll go over Monster Hunter Freedom, Monster Hunter Freedom Unite, and, the first and second generation. Also Monster Hunter Portable Third, technically 3 generations. I will say I looked into it briefly for Monster Hunter Tri. The way I went online was using the, after 10 years, Monster Hunter fans have done it, fly into video for Monster Hunter Tri using Revolution. Unfortunately, for the Revolution patch, it's no longer available. And the MH3SP server is what was called. It has been consolidated into the Monster Hunter Tri Discord, to my knowledge. If you go in and you ask, I'm sure there's a way you can set it up, but I'm going to have to learn from scratch, so that's going to take too long, and I'll update this video. I'll make like an updated video if I can figure it out. That said, Monster Hunter Tri, not really an option, so 3 Ultimate for the 3DS and Portable Third for the PSP, that'll have to do. But like I said, for Monster Hunter 1 and Monster Hunter 2 on the PS2, and again, I know I'm kind of going around everywhere for that, and I apologize for that. Pretty much what you're going to do is you're going to go to this guide. If you're on the emulator, this is the part you're going to want to go down to. So if you're on the original hardware, and then if you ask, this is how to create a file. So Monster Hunter G, Monster Hunter DOS, same thing. Go through, select the desktop option, whatever. It's a lot more tedious with Monster Hunter 1, but after that, you're going to get into the menu where you're actually changing the network settings. It's pretty simple. You can just go to add settings, like add or configure a setting. On the save location screen, select your preferred memory card, so which memory card you're loading from. This also applies to original hardware, so keep that in mind. If you are on an original PS2, you can play online this way as well. So once you go into the network settings, you'll be asked for your hardware. Select the hardware. It's also if you're on the emulator as well, PCSX2. You'll now be met with a box telling you you're done editing the ISP. Select OK. So pretty much it's like an only protocol for option 4 here. Select the hardware you're using, and then you go editing ISP, select OK. You're just going to go all the way through. ID and password, unless it's required, not required. It is now asking if you want to change your IP address. Select auto on the IP address. Now, the most important part in how to access the server is here on option 8, and I'll have this listed in the description below. This is just a brief overview on, what to do and how to access it. You're going to change your primary DNS. So after that, it's going to say if you want to change your DNS, you're going to select manual for the DNS. You will manually set your DNS. You're going to change the primary DNS to 34.75.107.68. You can leave the secondary line blank. If you want, you can change the name of the ISP setting. I just changed it to Aibo because I'm Aibo. After that, you're going to continue, and then after that, it's going to ask if you want to test your connection. I would say do it just to make sure it works. If it works, it works. If it doesn't work, either you have a problem on your network side or you didn't do it right, and go through the list again. So once more, just quick refresher. You're going to connect by going online, going to the network options. You're going to create a net file. So it's going to prompt you to create a net file. You will create a net file. And then after that, you're going to go into your DNS options and then change all that. You're going to go into, this should be the same for all 3 games, by the way, once you actually get into the DNS, the network settings. You're going to manually change your primary, just continue through everything, change your primary DNS to 34.75.107.68. And then you should be good. Now, there are some links here. The Discord, the old school Discord server, they're pretty cool people. I would suggest going there if you have any questions, or if you just want to find other people to play online with, because they do have sections for playing online with other people. They also got some guides, the MH Old School Guide, the PlayStation 2 soft modding guide. So, if you want to soft mod your PS2, the area hosting guide, honestly, I don't know what the Lido bug guide is. I have no idea what that is, but they also got patches for all 3 games. So again, you will need the Japanese version of all 3 games. Get the patch. It'll help. Next, we are going to go over the PSP games. This is very simple. Hunsterverse, it's the most popular version. I personally do not use Hunsterverse because, unfortunately, it just prevents me from accessing the internet. I can only play Hunsterverse. I can't open up YouTube. I can't stream. I can't do none of that. So I've tried streaming several times with it. It just breaks my internet, unfortunately. Additionally, I have a bit of an issue with how they have their initial user experience. They are developing something that is very impressive, an online server for playing Monster Hunter on the PSP games. But they're also constantly soliciting donations, which isn't bad in and of itself. However, for me at least, they are very hostile towards their user base, in my experience. For example, once you actually go through the process of setting everything up, they have these disclaimers saying, "We are not going to answer your questions after the first," or something like that. It's very aggressive. Additionally, once you do go through everything, not only is it a complicated process for Hunsterverse, once you do go through everything, they have I would say the audacity to have a message pop up saying "good dog." They call you a dog. That's disrespectful. It's very disrespectful. So I don't want to use Hunsterverse because they're dickheads. They're rude. Whoever, not them, all of them, but whoever decided we are going to have an extremely hostile, like we're going to be extremely hostile to a user base up front. Whoever made that decision, I understand people are not very intelligent at times, but if you're going to develop something that requires technical know-how, even to access some limited technical know-how, such as accessing a VPN, opening a certificate, you have to be able to be patient with the people you are soliciting money from. They are helping to support you. Don't be a dickhead. And these people are dickheads. They say "good dog" whenever you create a profile. I don't know if they've changed it. It was a year ago, but that is my experience with Hunsterverse, and it was an extremely hostile initial user experience. So Hunsterverse, sorry for putting you on blast. That was my experience. If you still have it all that way, if you're still saying "good dog" to people just for being able to set up a profile like I did, please change it, because you would have no money to solicit from people if these people didn't give you money. So you have no right to be extremely rude to them. If they're hostile, ban them, that's fine. If they break rules, if they cheat, ban them, that's fine. But do not be hostile to your user base. So I'm going to get off my soapbox. I'm going to say what I use for the PSP. I use retrovirze.my.id. I used to use something called a Stereoverse. Unfortunately, it seems to be down and no longer accessible. So I use RetroVirze here. It's very simple, retrovirze.my.id. There's not really anybody you could ask for help. It's just kind of up here with a tutorial, and they do have a Ko-Fi down here, but it's very subtle. So Felix, thank you. I'm actually going to open up this Ko-Fi right here. Look at this right here. Very, very awesome. It's really just right here. Also, Hunsterverse, they have like a Discord. This doesn't have a Discord, but Hunsterverse is constantly pinging for donations. That's something I also like. It's kind of a mixed bag for me. But I also understand it's a lot of hard work. They have a team, but it's just their hostility towards their users while at the same time constantly pinging for donations. It's literally like saying, fuck you, but give me money all the time. Like Angry Joe says, fuck you, give me money. But it's literally like that. They're very hostile upfront to their user base. It literally broke my internet on stream live multiple times. Even though I set it up and I was playing online, maybe I did something wrong, but you know, I personally, I would say support retrovirze.my.id. This guy did a great job. Looks like he's Philippines-based or Indonesian or something. Unfortunately, I'm not very good at recognizing other languages at times, but yes, I would personally use this one. So all you have to do is open up OpenVPN. It has a Windows app and it has an Android app, and that's what makes it awesome to me. There is both a Windows and Android app, and they both like interact. It doesn't matter which version you're on. You can have somebody on Windows playing Monster Hunter Freedom or Freedom Unite or Portable Third with somebody on their Android phone. As long as you have the same game and, you know, preferably the same version of the emulator, you can play online, and the same certificate as well. So all you have to do is get the OpenVPN app. You can download the certificate right here. It's going to pop up like this. It's going to look like this whenever you open up the site. OpenVPN cert, it's right there. Download, quick and easy. You don't got to go through an email. They're not going to call you a dog. It's quick and easy. You're going to open up your PSP emulator. After that, you're going to go into your settings and then your networking settings. Down here under the enable built-in pro ad hoc server, leave that unchecked. You're going to change the IP address to 10.42.0.1. After that, and you can enable network chat if you want. It's going to, on the bottom left-hand side of the screen, it'll have a little box that you can type in. After that, at the bottom of the screen where it says miscellaneous port offset, you're going to set it to 0. Then you're going to go into your system settings, and then after that, you're going to scroll all the way down to your PSP settings. I have my model set to 2000, 3000 for the sake of compatibility. Your nickname is going to be PPSSPP. You need to change it. If it's PPSSPP, I think it won't work. So change it to whatever you want. I'm Aibo, so I changed it to Aibo. And after that, it should work. Open up your game, you're good. As a matter of fact, I actually have all sorts of games here. Oh, here they are. So, you know, I got the Yu-Gi-Oh games. I got Dissidia, Duodecim. I remember playing those. Final Fantasy Tactics, War of the Lions, Gladiator Begins. Frontier Gate, I recently discovered that game's pretty cool. The God Eater games. These will all work with RetroVirze. As long as both of you have the certificate, the same version of the game, and the same emulator, you can play all these together. If they have, you know, online functionality. Crisis Core, I don't think it does, but I even got the demo version of Monster Hunter Freedom Unite because I used to have that on my PSP, and it's pretty great. You can play a demo together as well. It's pretty awesome. I've done that with my community a couple of times. So yeah, that's how you play online with PSP. You can, if you have Tekken, you can play Tekken, Star Wars Battlefront, Valhalla Knights. I think they got some form of online functionality. White Knight Chronicles Origins. I think they got some form of online functionality, but they might not. Either way, any game that has online functionality, RetroVirze, OpenVPN, you're pretty much good to go after that. Just make sure you follow these tutorial settings. And finally, we're going to go over the 3DS games. So I use Citra. Just download Citra from the internet. You could probably find it on like SourceForge or something like that. Just make sure I use Citra. Not everybody uses Citra. There's other 3DS emulators, and obviously Citra is shut down. But SourceForge, make sure, that's the one I downloaded it from. Your games, make sure you don't pirate. Make sure you have the proper games. This should work with all 3DS games as well. Same with the RetroVirze and Monster Hunter Old School for the PS2 games. But pretty much all 3DS games, it should work for it. What you do is you open up your emulator, go to File, and then you're going to open Citra Folder. After that, you have to close your emulator so these changes that you're about to make can take effect. Now, what I'm going to do is I am going to open up notepad++. And the reason why I'm going to do this is because I already have the file that I'm going to choose selected here. But pretty much what you're going to do is you're going to open up your Citra folder, close the emulator, go into config, and then qt-config. I have that open up right here. After that, you're going to scroll down. It's about halfway down to the web service option. Now, this isn't going to look like this for you. What it's going to look like is, let me see, right over here, web API URL default. That's going to be this line right here. You're going to set it from true to false. And then here on the line below it, it's going to say web API URL https://api.citraemu.org. You're going to change that. You're going to remove the S and make it HTTP. And then you're going to set this IP address and ports. http://88.198.47.46:5000. And I believe 5000 is the ports. For those of you wondering, there is a Citra application on the Android app. There is a way you can play from Android to Citra, and after you change all this, you're going to save it, and then you're going to open up Citra. And then if you go to multiplayer, browse public game lobbies, you can do that. I believe the way it works if you want to play somebody on Android is either the Android person has to host or you have to host, but you have to either create a room or direct connect to room, and then you have to use like the port and the IP or whatever. I think the Android version is going to have an IP address, and then you have to use that IP address to connect to their room. But I could be wrong. But either way, at least for the Windows version, that's how you play online. Do keep in mind, if you want to play on the mobile version of the game, on the Android version of the Citra emulator, I would say go into my Discord in the description below. I have a community member, really awesome dude, Abandoned Gorilla. He's very active in the community. I could probably walk you through it, or Xanthos is another one. But those are two people I personally know that have gone through finagling and setting it up. It's not very stable, but it is usable. So if that's something you want to do for the Android version of 3DS emulator, that is an option. But that said, that's pretty much all the games. Oh, and Monster Hunter Frontier. There is one last thing. If you want to play Monster Hunter Frontier, it's pretty quick and easy for Monster Hunter Frontier. So you got three different options. There's the PP Dojo server. You can just go to Google, type in PP Dojo Discord server, and you'll be able to access it. I was able to pull it up from like a Reddit link immediately here. You can also do the Frontier renewal. So you'll go through, so you can like go to Monster Hunter Frontier renewal Discord, or Monster Hunter Frontier Rain Discord. Rain is the most popular, but I also believe it has the more difficult grind. But they also have community events with Raviente, which is like a giant world-eating serpent. It's really cool stuff. But you can fight it solo. You can still fight it on the renewal Discord. Just Rain has dedicated events to get 16-party teams together in order to properly experience that hunt. The renewal Discord, I believe initially, I actually spoke with the guy right as he was starting the Discord. I believe what happened was he had some pretty much issues with the way people were in the PP Dojo Discord, although I don't know anything about it, but he had some issues with them. He started his own server. That's how he got renewal, and it seems to be the second most popular option. A lot of my community members are using it. Whenever I go through Monster Hunter Frontier myself, I will be using it because it has the less difficult grind to my knowledge in order to access gear. That said, keep in mind the game isn't fully translated, but Frontier is an amazing second-generation based Monster Hunter game. So if you like Monster Hunter Freedom Unite, you'll probably like at least the first half of Monster Hunter Frontier. It has like 70 different unique monsters compared to the other games. It's just an awesome, awesome game. But I think that's everything. This first generation, the PS2 games, the PSP games, the 3DS games, Frontier. Keep in mind, each of these servers, they do have their own setup process. You will need to join the Discord and then go through the process of setting up your character, to my knowledge. But it's really quick. You just type in a couple of commands, and then you register your character, and then you can set it up on your system. But that's pretty much what I had to do. I have a couple of videos myself on how to play online with a Rain server. Check my, I don't know, I'll have it linked somewhere, I think. And besides that, I think that's everything. For the Wii game, try. I'm not 100% sure if it's changed, but it looks like some stuff was changed around, and I'll have to do some research on that. For the Monster Hunter Frontier, it's join the Discord. You can download the game. Like the server should have the files, and then they'll have options or like a setup process on their own system or on their own Discord server. For the PS2 games, make sure you go to the old school Monster Hunter Discord, go through the setup process, get to the network settings, do all this stuff, and then you can play whether or not you're on the actual PS2 system or the PCSX2 emulator. If you're on the emulator and you're having issues, I'll also have this page linked in the description below. But if you're having some issues, you can actually, this will actually give you a little bit of stuff to, try to help troubleshoot that. But you can also join the the old school Monster Hunter Discord and ask there as well. And then obviously for the 3DS ones, you're just going to switch those settings in your Qt folder, and you should be able to access the public lobbies for the Citra servers or whatever. And it's not Nintendo lobbies, keep in mind. It's not the same as the Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate Revival project. It's just public Citra emulators that somebody is personally hosting at the IP address. Yeah, I think that's everything. Thank everybody for watching. If you liked the video, if it helped you out, make sure you leave a like. Feel free to comment in the description below if you have any questions. I'll do my best to answer them. Otherwise, check out my description in order to access these Discord servers or these web pages, and they'll be able to go through the information in a lot more detail. I just want to give a brief overview for each, and I hope it helps. That said, thanks for watching, and have a good day.